Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Well, about a month or so ago, the biggest battle in Toronto, well, it was actually the gangland shootings. Shootings in Toronto have tripled under the watchful eye of Mayor John Tory, but the big police operation was against a barbecue joint called Adamson's Barbecue. As you know, over 100 police, 50 police cars, and it turns out 6 riot horses were deployed to that big bad barbecue joint. Well, something's brewing in the small central Alberta town of Mirror. That's the name of the town. So far, no riot cops, but Trudeau's RCMP have been by repeatedly because a little cafe, a diner really, called the Whistle Stop Cafe, has opened to the massive support of the little town. People are sick of the lockdown. They're going there to meet each other, to see each other, to live a normal life, and to have some good diner food. Well, our friend and chief reporter, Sheila Gunn Reid, joins us now via Skype from the Whistle Stop Cafe in Mirror, Alberta. How's it going there, Sheila?
It's great. My Skype connection might be a little bit slow and it might be a little noisy because it's the lunch rush and this place is packed again. But I'm here in Mirror just to make sure that if the police or Alberta Health Services come to drop the hammer on this little restaurant, that they won't be able to do it in anonymity. I'm going to be here to capture everything.
Well, I'm so glad to hear it. You know, Toronto is the biggest city in Canada, the greater Toronto area, which is a lot of little towns and cities. They say it's 6.5 million souls. Last time I checked, I think Mirror has just over 500. So it's the kind of place where everybody knows each other. And I think there's a level of trust in small towns. And if these folks want to come to the Whistle Stop Cafe, they know what they're doing. They know who they're meeting with. They know everyone. And you know, you're probably the only stranger in there today, and you're not a stranger anymore because you've been visiting them. My point is, everyone there knows what's going on, knows the risks, and if they want to take them, they're sort of sick of the BS of the lockdowns. I wonder if this would turn into the Adamson's Barbecue of the prairies. I think the problem in Toronto is the mayor thought, well, he's challenging my primacy. I'm the alpha male. I must crush this man. In Little Mirror, Alberta, you'd have to go out of town to get 100 cops, 50 cars, and 6 riot horses, right?
Yes, I think the closest RCMP detachment is about 20 kilometers up the road. I think they maybe have 10 cops, maybe. I think I could even be exaggerating, that work at that detachment. They've got a lot of better things to do in small town Alberta than to crack down on an illegal burger here in Mirror. Rural crime is out of control because of the bad economy, and police are really too busy to be the enforcement arm of the Alberta Health Services bureaucrats that want this place closed.
Now, you said illegal burger a moment ago. I want to tell you, I've started a campaign called No Burger is Illegal. I'm joking around. Earlier today, you were telling me about the menu there. I would like to make an invitation. I have no authority to do this. I have not spoken to the Whistle Stop Cafe, but I bet they would be happy for folks in the surrounding areas to come by and get a slice of pie. You told me they had some berry pie. I think you said apple pie. You said they got some soup, burgers, fries, obviously, breakfast food. Like, this is just a typical small town diner experience. I was very hungry when you were describing it to me on the phone. And Mirror, it's just east of Lacombe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little bit north. Am I right? That's northeast of Red Deer. So if you're in central Alberta, why not go for a drive? What else you got to do, right?
Right, and it's right off Highway 21. It is right along the side of Highway 21. It's very easy to get to, but make sure you've left yourself a little bit of time if you are coming, because this place has been busy since they opened from morning till night. People are coming from Calgary, people are coming from Edmonton, people who are not able to sit in and have a sit-down meal. They're placing takeout orders to go, and sometimes those takeout orders, people have to wait 2 hours
Oh,
for
wow.
them because they are just so busy. While I was here this morning, one of the local ranchers came and dropped off some beef. They have a beef company, and they knew that Chris, the owner here, was having trouble getting off the grill to go into Red Deer and get supplies. So the community is really rallying around him, not just by patronizing the business, but for helping backstop the business with supplies. Even the staff here, they know that, you know, Chris has been closed for quite some time, so he's not necessarily able to pay them, but they are volunteering their time just to keep the doors open, just so that they will have a job to come back to if AHS ever lets them legally open going forward.
Wow. You know what? That's amazing. And when you say there's a lineup for food, that's how it was with Adamson's. It wasn't just people who love the food. I've eaten at Adamson's. It is wonderful. It's the solidarity with someone not only standing up to the infringements on our liberties, but someone who's fighting for their own life and livelihood. I don't know the Whistle Stop Cafe. I've never been to Mirror before. But I can imagine that they've poured years of their life and their heart into the place. It's part of the community. I mean, if you think about what makes a neighborhood, you know, there might be a little park, there might be a school. Often it's the restaurants that actually give a community, it's a neighborhood, its character. That's where you meet up. That's where you have the moments of your life. The backdrop of your life happens in this restaurant, in that bar. You know, it's the milestones and the landmarks. And God forbid the Whistle Stop Cafe were to shut down. I hate to even say those words, but that's the fate of more than 10,000 restaurants in Canada. That will cast a long shadow over the cohesiveness of the community. I tell you, Sheila, if I was there, I would go there out of solidarity. I would tip enormously. I would just want to support them every way I can. And if the police showed up to be bullies, I would do my best not to swear, but I would ask challenging words to the police if this is really why they went to the police academy, or the depot as it's called in the RCMP. When you wanted to be a cop growing up, did you ever imagine yourself cracking down on waiters, waitresses, and customers? You thought you were going to be fighting murderers and robbers, didn't you? That's the kind of stuff I would say if I could control my tongue and not swear.
Yesterday, I was here, not for work, but for personal reasons. I wanted to do exactly what you're talking about, Ezra. So I was here on Saturday for work. I've got a great video coming out where you can see the whole community is here. I talked to the staff, I talked to Chris, I talked to his customers. That video is coming out. But I was here yesterday with 14 other people. We rounded up a bunch of people, including one of those freedom-minded restaurants, our friends from Buffet Royale in the Edmonton area, the restaurant that hosted our book signing and then was subsequently protested by the Chinese consulate. They came down here to stand in solidarity. It's a little bit more difficult for a large buffet restaurant to open up on a moment's notice, but they wanted to do what they could do to help Chris. And you are right when you say that these small town diners, they really end up being sort of like the community center. It's, you know, where everybody gets together to discuss, you know, business, funerals. It's the social club in a small town. And when these places disappear, they disappear forever. And you're right about Chris being part of the social fabric here. At the beginning of the pandemic, when everything was closed, he bought a massive screen and he set up a drive-in theater in his parking lot just to give the town something to do. And at the time, AHS closed it down the first time around, even though everybody was in their cars. But he pushed back. AHS sat down and made some rules for him to reopen. And I think that's what he's trying to do here. He's just going to go ahead, do something, ask for permission later, and hopefully he forces AHS to come to the table and allow everybody to open back up.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.